So today I will be filming my negative argument for developing the moon, my negative argument being against Maddie Murphy's affirmative. So to begin, her thesis is that the Earth should harvest the moon for its resources because eventually we are going to run out of energy here on Earth, and it's not sustainable. The moon has plenty of resources to use, and we should take advantage of that. By harvesting the moon for energy, she means going to the moon, gathering the resources, and bringing them back for Earth's benefits. So in her argument, she talks about the problem with our current energy system and the benefits of using the moon's energy. So I will be arguing for the disadvantages of her plan, her problem, and inerrancy. So first, she argues for the Google Lunar X Prize. Basically, what the Google Lunar X Prize is it's 18 teens competing to figure out how to go to the moon and bring the resources back. So, but what I'm saying is, how is that a plan? Was your plan for the teens to go to the moon and get the resources themselves? I'm wondering, what if they never get to the moon? My opponent states, so obviously that sparks a lot of interest about the moon right now. So what I'm arguing is, how is that a plan? Because they are figuring out how to go to the moon, but this is not necessarily saying that they will go to the moon, that they will achieve their goal. So therefore, this is not a sufficient plan because it's just in theory, it's just a competition. They're not actually getting to the moon and going and getting the resources. Subpoint B. So my opponent defines helium-3 as a certain type of gas, not here on Earth, and it can be a really good source of energy to use on the Earth. But when defining it as a certain type of gas that is not here on Earth, that is a good source of energy, I'm wondering, what exactly is helium-3? How does it work? What makes it a good source of energy? So what is the backing and the warrant for this argument? It seems like sort of an incomplete phrase. I understand that it is a good source of energy, but I'm wondering what makes it a good source of energy. Why is it a good source of energy? What exactly is helium-3? Therefore, not a strong plan, because she just says that helium-3 can be a good source of energy. Is it a good source of energy? How does it work? Subpoint C. My opponent argues that China is planning to go to the moon and use helium-3 for their energy source, and she says that USA should instead bring back helium-3 as our energy source because we are the #1 producers and consumers in the world of energy. I'm thinking that this is not a good plan or reason to go to the moon to get helium, just because I don't think it really should be a competition when we are arguing to better our entire world as a whole. I feel as though doing it purely because we want to do it instead of China could possibly arise conflict. Not one country does own the moon. I think that America should go when they are ready, and not just because they want to do it before China gets there, because this in theory is arguing to better our Earth as a whole and not just America. So moving on to disadvantage 2, the disadvantages of the problem. Subpoint A. My opponent states that the problem with nuclear energy, it can be unclean, unsafe, and we have to get rid of nuclear waste. Keywords are can be. So when she states that it can be unclean and unsafe, is it unclean and unsafe, or is it just possible that it can be unclean and unsafe? I'm wondering, what about nuclear energy makes it unclean and unsafe? Is it just the nuclear waste? So possibly that could have just been a trip up on words, but nonetheless, can it be unclean or unsafe, or is it unclean and unsafe? She uses the example that in Japan there was that Hiroshima bombing, and all that radioactive waste caused many deaths and was very bad for the environment. But I'm wondering, how is that good? Where's the link to that argument from that Hiroshima bombing to our radioactive energy? Because that was a bomb and this is actually creating energy. Those are two totally different things. We use energy to create, I would say here. We use energy for productive things, whereas that bombing was meant specifically to destroy. So therefore that just wasn't a very valid argument towards showing the link where radioactive nuclear energy was bad. We're not bombing to create that energy. We use a different source of radioactive energy to create energy. Subpoint B says, I don't think that the nuclear fission process is very safe, or we should use it. What I'm wondering is, what is the nuclear fission process? It is just stated, I don't think the nuclear fission process is very safe, although there's no definition for what the nuclear fission process is. I have no idea what is being talked about. I'm also wondering what makes it not safe. Where's the warrant and the backing for this argument? I just don't know what it is. It's very unclear. And also in the words she says, I don't think it is very safe. I don't think we should use it. I'm wondering, is this argument just your opinion, or is it actually based upon facts? So, disadvantage 3, the disadvantage of the solution, subpoint A. My opponent states that the reason we should use helium-3 is, and I quote, nuclear reactors are causing radioactive waste, and that's not safe. Helium-3 can fuel nuclear reactors without having to deal with that radioactive waste, and we wouldn't have to deal with it. But if nuclear reactors are what's causing radioactive waste, and that isn't safe, why would we want to use something else to fuel those nuclear reactors if nuclear reactors are the problem? So it's kind of a circular thing. If nuclear reactors are causing radioactive waste, why are we using helium-3 to fuel those same nuclear reactors? Subpoint B. My opponent says they found out the efficiency of helium-3 outperformed the efficiency of coal and gas by 20% and reduced radioactive waste. But is 20% really enough to go to the moon? Is 20% really going to make that huge difference versus just us? Would it be more cost effective to spend money on Earth to find energy-saving tools that we could actually use just here on Earth without going to the moon? Thank you.